My guests are here from Vancouver, Washington. That's about 6 hours from our Vancouver by car. Gil and Brenda Stuart have 7 children between them, ages 17 to 28. They've been working on blending 2 families into one since 2003, and they now bring encouragement to other couples who might be lost in the step-family forest. Their book and their workbook is entitled Restored and Remarried. That quote was from a friend of yours. Ron Deal has been here, president of Successful Step Families.
Yes.
There's an encouraging title, Successful Step Families.
It is possible.
Were you ever lost in the forest?
We still are.
Really?
All times.
Yeah.
Your marriages, previous marriages, endured a long time. Gil, 23?
24.
24 years.
24 and 4 children.
Yeah.
Brenda?
19 and 3 boys. Yeah.
Did you see it coming?
In your case?
No. No,
Total
it was, yeah, I mean, probably the year previous to the actual divorce, you know, things started coming out. But, you know, we were a good Christian family. We were involved in church. We, you know, did everything for our kids, and everything on the outside looked great. But yet, Gil's story was a little different.
Yeah, I was a knockdown drag out for about 4 or 5 years, and ebbed and tide, and again in the church. And in a lot of ways I thought I was bulletproof because of being in the church, but no matter how hard it ended up in being what I referred to as a great train wreck. It was horrible. It took me a long time to get over that. So,
How about your children through that?
Well, between the 7, yeah, it's been
almost
12 years since the divorce. We've been married 9 years, and they're all at different places. Some have grown through it. Some still don't want to face off with the hurt that they haven't dealt with yet.
We underestimate the impact, the pain that
totally.
the children experience, don't
Well,
we?
because we're in love. We have the rose-colored glasses on because we're excited about a new start, a new fresh in life. Sometimes we forget about what the kids are going through, and I think so many times we don't give them the chance to grieve the loss of their previous family, and that's okay and that's healthy to let them do that. But sometimes we don't want to go back and grieve the loss of our last family, because in our situation, we had a lot of good times.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there was, you know, some headbutting, but there were some good times too, so we don't want to forget those.
This happened in the church. Sometimes not friendly in this process. How was that experience for you both?
Well, you feel like you have a big D on your head when, you know, I think in a couple cases, because I actually led a couple missions trips shortly and during the time I was on going through the process of the divorce, and when people would ask me about my family, I would have this sinking feeling, because it's like, I don't want to tell you what I'm going through or what I've just been through, so I would find ways to skirt around it. So there was shame, just incredible shame, because that was not supposed to happen.
Your attitude in this whole arena has changed, Gil, hasn't it, because of your personal experience?
Oh, completely. I think there was a great deal of judgment with people that I, you know, projected my judgment on, who had gone through divorces, which I didn't completely understand all of the mechanics of everything you go through, not only emotionally, physically, spiritually, and legally, but just the whole, as again, the coming apart at the seams. There's no other way to put it. And then have to put that all back together again. It was a lot of internal putting it back together again, which was really a process of completely surrendering to Christ. Because there was the option, and as I refer to it, as just getting on the freeway, making a left, and never coming back. That was a thought. And even being a Christian, there was a point in time I remember driving over a bridge with that thought going through my head. I could just stop and jump out and nobody would care. I mean, that was the intensity of what I experienced. And it was like completely foreign from what I had ever, you know, expected in my own personal life to get that far. Thank God I didn't.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah.
Did you think you'd remarry?
Not really. I wasn't really looking.
I wasn't focused on getting remarried. I was focused on taking care of my kids, going back to school, rebuilding my life. I've always been passionate about marriage because I think it's just the foundation of society, and the best gift we can give our kids is a healthy marriage. But to be speaking on marriage from this side of marriage, never thought I would be doing this.
And yet, you are. Speaking to first-time marrieds as well as those trying to rebuild a home and a marriage, you're working against horrific odds in this era of a divorce epidemic. 90% do remarry, 60% fail again.
Within the first 2 years.
Within the first 2 years.
Right.
And actually, your situation, you were telling me, Brenda, you were in the worst time frame in terms of trying to build a Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
How old were your children?
They were between 11 and 20, I guess, but 11 to 17 are like the years like you don't want to even try, because they're beginning to find out who they are, and they're the teens. Hormones are flying. They want autonomy.
Yeah.
So that's why we had to institute the triple F nights, which are forced family fun. So we would bring the kids together. Okay, we're going to go bowling or something, and of course we get the pushback. No, I don't want to do it. And little by little, they got to have fun and see it wasn't so bad. And so to be able to encourage the family to bond, but yet, especially as teens, give them the appropriate freedom that they need.
5 of your 7 children have contributed to the book.
Yes.
The workbook.
Yes.
Very appropriate that there's a workbook,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And we asked our kids, we said, okay, this is going out to people that might be engaged, thinking about remarriage. Tell them as a kid's view, where did we mess up? Where did we do okay? And some of it's pretty raw, which is awesome, because this is raw stuff.
And it's real. It's going to be, it's a little like prenatal. I mean, what prenatal class really prepares you for that thing?
Yeah.
But this is the truths that they're going to be dealing with. And how many second divorces is it the kids that have come in there and just not let it work?
Well, yeah. I mean, the aspect of the children coming in, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why second marriages don't work. We've heard this from a lot of couples when we're at seminars. Is we're fine, it's the kids. And we typically come around and say, yeah, it is those people, as we lovingly refer to them as, our own. But that aspect of why it is so important that the marriage be strong so that it has a chance while they're dealing with blending the kids, because that is the biggest challenge for the most part.
Another huge factor, and this statistic has gone up since you wrote the book.
Yeah.
58% of spouses don't deal with their past stuff. They're bringing it into a whole new scenario.
A lot of trust issues, if you've been abandoned before, and to be able to trust somebody again, it's very easy to have that wall come between you, and we share a concept about having a wall in front so that you come behind that wall, as a couple to protect yourself from
rather than letting a wall be divided
you.
I mean, the very first or second time Brenda and I went out, I literally looked across the coffee table and said, okay, I know what commitment is, but I'm not afraid of that. But the thing that's freaking me out is, can I trust you? Because of the betrayal and the things that I went through. It was like, okay, and literally I reached across the table and said, do we got a deal? And if not, bye-bye, I'm out of here. I do not want to go there again. So that was the foundation of how we got started.
And I think as we share, the main theme that we have through everything is that if you ain't got the marriage,
you ain't got nothing.
That's the foundation. And let me be clear, you're coming from the position of a Christ-centered foundation. The first year, it's the do or die, right? That's the critical.
Yeah. Well, it's so true, because we had just gotten back from our honeymoon. We went out for a walk. We got back from the walk. She went one direction, I went another, and I was like, oh no, not again. And I thought it was a miscommunication. And I thought, okay, I blew it. I'm wrong. Something. But we had a face-off at the front door when I got back to the house, and all the kids were there watching. oh no, we've been here before, and it was like that really freaked me out. That really did.